It was no secret that John Kosinski acted like a spoiled brat riding his own ticket out of the GP business, at least for now. And this is New Zealander Simon Crafar. He signed on to fill the void for the Lucky Strike team.
Qualified 15th, and everybody's smiling, so I guess you're right. I guess they're happy John's gone. Paolo Casoli is not smiling. He has a broken arm and won't race his Gilera this weekend.
This is the New Zealander out on the track. Crafar, he comes from the 500 class, getting a full works ride. He had an impressive ninth at Assen on an outdated machine.
Sixth qualifier Nobuatsu Aoki trying to get back into second place in the championship standings. He was hurt after a good, strong opening part of the campaign, and he'll run well here.
Winning the race in Malaysia. Jean-Philippe Rougia claimed fifth on the grid. It's heartening to see the Aprilias with those new cylinders in place. As of 2 weeks ago, they show the power necessary now to compete with the Hondas, Dave.
Yeah, they've really been struggling this year after playing a pretty significant role last season. They're back, they're strong. It just demonstrates how quickly the technology can change and how quickly you can get left behind.
Number 13, Loris Reggiani, fourth place on the grid as he goes out.
Here you see Reggiani in action. There is a rumor in the paddock area that Kosinski will in fact end up on an Aprilia before the year is out, but nothing happened here this weekend, so it's a wait-and-see deal.
Loris Capirosi's been at the heart of the battle for the pole all year long. After the pole and win at Assen a week ago, he's fallen off the pace a bit. Third on the grid here, running behind the championship points leader.
And I think that's probably the big surprise. Well, two surprises really, that Capirossi is stuck back there in third. But an even bigger surprise is the fact that this guy is second, because for Harada, every racetrack is new. He hasn't seen any of these places. Typically, he's been on the second row. And this is a difficult racetrack to learn, but he's certainly figured it out because he ended up second on the grid, and very timely, too. He's not scored well in the last couple of races, and he needs to win one.
After 2 hours of qualifying, for the first time this year, Max Biaggi sits on the pole. A week ago, he was at the center for the lead at Assen when he was involved in a slight touch with Ramboni. It cracked the NSR's exhaust system and forced him to retire soon afterwards.
A lot of people were surprised that Biaggi was fast enough to win the pole here. He's been a little inconsistent. But boy, when this guy stormed onto the 250 scene at the tail end of last year and then hooked up with Irv Kanemoto, everybody said, look out, this is going to be a combination. Ultimately, he got the pole in a great run.
Yeah, a little bit surprised because now I'm more fast than the other place, the other track, because here the Michelin worked very well. My feeling with the tire is more better than before. Now I hope so good result coming.
Biaggi, his first pole of the season at the same track he gained his first GP pole. Harada in second by 0.03 of a second. Capirossi and Reggiani, and then his teammate Rougia right behind Reggiani. Aoki, Puig, and Okada rounding out the second row. The race delayed some 30 minutes because of the raunchy weather, high winds, and temperature climbing, totally different than the morning session.
Interesting shot from under the rear fender of Pier Francisco Chili, looking back at Wilco Zeelenberg as we prepare for the start. Yeah, the weather's weird. Tire choices are difficult.
Loris Capirossi gaining the lead as we're under the green. He survived a crash in the rain on the first day and is looking good. Max Biaggi going right into the slipstream already.
Looks just like Holland last weekend. Capirossi to the lead, Biaggi in second spot. Rest of the field streaming through. Number 6 is Alberto Puig. He's the local hero here today.
He's hoping his home track will get him some much-needed results today.
Literally home track. They claim he can see the track from his bedroom window. That's how close he lives to here.
Capirossi is out in front, though, after coming off the win, his first GP win last week. He preceded that with 2 second places.
And Biaggi sizing him up early on here. First few laps, the critical thing is just not to do anything strange, not to get yourself in trouble. Yeah, it's important to get away quickly and to be with the leaders, but once you're in that lead group of 4 or 5, the critical thing is not to mess it up.
The curbside camera giving us an idea of speed as Capirossi's out in front.
Want to get in between those two. The Italians are known for getting their racing blood up, and got two of the best young kids that the country has ever produced running 1-2 here. Biaggi's an interesting study. He's kind of a wild-eyed kid, but he is teamed up with Irv Kanemoto of San Jose, California, the wise, soft-spoken, easygoing Japanese-American who helped lift Freddie Spencer to world championships. And I think that's a combination that could work very well.
See the red bike in third place, number 6. That's Puig. And, of course, the local Spanish fans are going crazy that he might have a chance for a podium. Now we see one bike going off. There's been an unusual number of engine failures because of the weather, probably.
That was Harada on the left-hand side of your screen. The championship point leader blows the engine and drops out of the picture. Big development here.
His engine failed just after the first lap. Tetsuya's comment, I was disappointed, of course, but cowboys don't cry, especially when you're Japanese.
That is a good quote from Cycle News. That will move Okada up into third. Here comes Harada to the pits with the broken motorcycle. A couple of times this year he's had that problem failing to finish, and yet he still has the huge lead in the point standings.
Biaggi out in front as we look at some action now from the onboard camera of Keeley.
Action indeed. Watch what happens on the straightaway right here. Engine locks up, apparently. Thing starts fishtailing. He hits on the ground, and he got Bradl in the process.
That was the second time he got Bradl as he went by. Bradl reboarded, later finished in the top 10. But Chile, of course, was taken off. He escaped injury, though, with only a dislocated toe.
If you take another look at this, I think you can see what happened. Okay, he's running nice and straight. He's looking out the back. See it start to fishtail. Pretty good indication that the rear wheel is locked and its speed. He just couldn't salvage it there. He clips Bradl, and the two of them crash off into the gravel trap.
Here we see from the onboard camera of Puig, Okada in third place. Capirossi is in second place with Max Biaggi out in front right now.
Got to give a call to number 13, Loris Reggiani, as well. He's got the Aprilia right up there in that lead pack and has kept it there pretty consistently. It's a good run for the Italian bike.
Biaggi's starting to take control.
He'd love to get away, but it's going to be tough to do that, I think, with his teammate Okada sitting back there. He was championship material early in the year till he fell off, broke his arm, missed a couple of races, and I'm not sure Biaggi will be able to get away from him.
Okada winning the final race of the year in '92 too, Dave, and looking for his first win on a Honda.
Puig has got him up on their feet. The Spaniards are just motorcycle crazy, and to have a Spanish rider finish on the podium here on the rostrum, somewhere in the top 3, would be a huge accomplishment, a matter of national pride. See Okada come out there and take a look at Biaggi. Puig is the guy the fans are cheering for. He's going the wrong way, though.
Capirossi right in front of Puig on that move.
Watch how Puig keeps trying to change his line here. Find another place to go. Loris goes a little wide. Puig looks underneath. Loris comes to the inside. Puig looks to the outside. He's not following. He's looking for a pass, and that's the key to any kind of racing.
There's really no rest for the rider on this course, as we saw there.
It's a pretty busy circuit in the back, and it's hard to pass in the back through the twists and turns. Then you get out in front, and you got this big horsepower derby down past the pit. So it's a schizophrenic racetrack. It's got two different personalities.
Well, the two blue and white Rothmans Honda, Biaggi and Okada, out in front.
Interesting that this is the event where Rothman's elected to make the announcement that they're getting out of Grand Prix racing, actually out of Grand Prix motorcycle racing. They're going car racing, and anybody who knows anything about Formula One knows that it takes all the money in the world to go do that. So there isn't going to be any left over for motorcycles or off-roading, and that's a big change. Rothman's been with Factory Honda team for a long time and really kind of upped the ante in terms of paddock lifestyle, and they're going to be missed in this series.
Puig bringing the crowd to their feet once again, moving into third.
Got that spot back. Like I said, he worked on Capirossi long enough that he finally found a way by on the brakes into turn 1. It's a favorite passing zone.
More highlight action coming up. Prix of Europe, highlights of 250cc action. Max Biaggi leading the pack of 3 out in front. Okada, though, and Puig making an inside move. Can he beat? Okada takes it back.
Quite a shuffle indeed. The leader, Biaggi, goes all the way to third. Puig got into second, and Okada took the lead. A big shuffle, the deck of the top 3.
Interesting, because Biaggi was really under control most of the entire early segment of the race.
Going into turn 1, it's got stutter bumps, whatever you want to call it. The cars have kind of beaten up the surface there, and it's difficult to get in there on the brakes, and you saw Puig's bike trying to swap in on the brakes. The rear end gets real light when you're trying to stop one of these things.
Okada, your leader, but Capirossi was falling back, and we finally found out why in these highlights, as Capirossi suffering a similar fate as many of the other machines.
Lots of engine seizures today, I think, because the weather changed. The temperature went skyrocketing. And look at this. Speaking of skyrockets, Puig has rocketed into the lead.
Boy, would this be a storybook ending for Alberto. No matter what happens, really, just making the podium.
Let's give a call, too, to the 5th place Aprilia of number 17, Jean-Philippe Rougia. His teammate Reggiani was in that spot, but he has blown up as well.
Max Biaggi slipping out in front, and coming up in 4th is Aoki.
I think he's related to Rocky Aoki. He's back there racing with Rougia, and they've been kind of biding their time, letting the top 3 scramble here. I wonder if we've seen the last of Aoki and Rougia.
Biaggi with a bike length lead here, but as we move ahead in our highlights, you see the gap that has been created there. He used the back markers well.
Getting through traffic is very important. Aoki also made a late race move. Here he's around Puig and up into 2nd spot with Rougia on his tail.
All the Spanish fans are wondering, can Puig hold on to a podium spot as Max Biaggi just pulls away?
I think it was a very strategic race from Biaggi. He had the pole. I think he was the fastest guy all weekend, and the benefit of 20/20 hindsight, he just pulled it out in the late laps when he needed. Here's the race, and the guy to watch is number 14, Aoki. He's having trouble staying on the bottom of the racetrack. There's Okada going underneath him. Now Puig will challenge.
Aoki slipping back slightly, but don't count him out. This is the final lap, and a great competition for 2nd and 3rd places.
Puig wants that rostrum finish so badly in front of the home fans. Aoki determined to get around him, trying some pretty unusual lines, and at those unusual lines that get him in trouble. He goes way down on the inside. Inevitably, he's going to drift. That's the laws of physics, and Puig gets it back.
Biaggi and Okada, 1st and 2nd place with Puig, Aoki, and Rougia, and Cardus a distant 6th.
Good race. 3rd, 4th, and 5th coming down to the wire. These are for point positions, and you see the Spanish cheering for Puig, hoping he can hang on to that spot. They haven't had much glory in their home GP.
Aoki, though, very experienced, 21 years old, one of 3 brothers in the racing business. There's Max Biaggi way out in front as we go through a chicane and come out on the straightaway.
Biaggi en route to an impressive win. Everybody else trying to break the draft and settle those final positions. Aoki's not done with Puig yet. Here he comes down low. Puig runs wide, hangs on. This is going to be good all the way to the wire.
And the fans are going nuts. Their hometown hero. Max Biaggi, though, out in front. He took a 2nd in Spain, a 3rd in the first race of the year, Australia. This would be his first win this season.
Winning it impressively down the front straightaway for the final time. If you're going to win it big.
The Rothmans Honda crew congratulating themselves, and look at back there, Puig with his hands in the air. This is his moment, Dave.
You think he'd won the race. Spanish fans all on their feet cheering him. A 3rd place finish for Puig behind Biaggi and Okada. Aoki, Rougia, and Cardus rounding out the top half dozen. And look at the Honda dominance of the class.
In the standings, Harada out early, but no challengers for the point race. Biaggi moves up, but only 5 points to 87 points. And here's a very happy Irv Kanemoto.
Always happy to see Irv win these things. He's just such a class guy, and he's got a good kid this year in Max Biaggi.
With Romboni out for at least another race with the injury, it would take a near miracle for Harada to miss out on the points championship. He's not on the podium, of course. He would almost have to crash on every race or get injured.
Wow, that's the last thing in these guys' minds, though. They're just thinking about spraying champagne.